Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South, and today we are going to change the lower unit oil in my Mercury 115 horsepower 4-stroke EFI Mercury engine. So we'll come back to this in a little bit. That is our top screw for this project. We will need to use that. Go ahead and zoom back out. Get things kind of simmered down here. And I'll straighten up the wheel and we'll be starting. So I'm just straightening up the motor. And of course, at one point we will have the motor tilted down. But we'll start this way. That way we got it got, I guess, where everybody can see it better and where I can reach it better. Okay. Get all my stuff together here. So what we're going to need for this, of course, is an oil drain pan. And I've put a puppy trading pad under it because that way if anything wants to leak, if I don't get it all in the pan, then I've got that there. You need a pump, so you can pump in the gear lube. Now this is Bass Pro Shops brand. Again, I don't think Bass Pro makes their own, so I figure it's going to be pretty darn similar, if not identical, to Quicksilver. Okay, so back in the olden days, they used to have the lower plug down here, but they switched that up. They're like, you know, that's too easy, folks. Plus, it's always a good idea to take off your prop periodically to check the seal, check sure you don't have any line wrapped around it, etc. And you want to use the widest blade screwdriver you can find. In my case, this is what I've got. Wow, and I've already twisted it. So that's good. Of course, I can tell you how I twisted it. Oh, it's using an impact. That's okay. That should get us through what we're doing here. So you need to take these two tabs, and what they do is they lock this nut in place because you don't want your nut coming off running down the lake. So once you do that, then you just use your prop wrench and you take off your nut. I remember when these used to be castle nuts, but oh well. You had to put a cotter pin through them and tilt up a bunch of little castle pins, and so they've changed things around. So we're done with the prop wrench for a while. We're just going to pull all this off as one unit. Okay, so you got the little retaining pin that bends over to lock the nut in place, and then you got the two parts of the hub that go inside the prop. So we got those. Then we got this ring, and that actually fits in the grooves in here. Let's see if I can find the key on this. If it is keyed. There we go. And it just sits right in. And that's just an exhaust ring. Okay. Then you got your thrust washer. Probably put just a little bit of grease on that when we put it back together. So your thrust washer, you want pointed backwards so that the smaller diameter faces the prop of the hub. Okay, so now we got all that out. Looking in here, everything seems fine. And this right here, that is the screw that we need to remove. And if it doesn't want to come out, that's okay. because it actually has a head on it. Is just a little too big, which means it's probably not going to be metric. Try my 7/16. Which is also too big. Give me 1 second. Silly me, I did actually have the socket set right here. Thought I did. Okay. Grab our socket set here. Not a 9mm. Looks like it's 10. Okay. So that is busted loose, broken loose, whatever you want to call it. And we'll put that back up there. If I let it drop, everything will go everywhere. So let's not do that. Okay. Let's get our puppy pad laid back out flat. And I have no idea why I have tweezers hanging from my microphone. Okay. And here's my flatheads. What I'm going to do is trim the motor down, tilt it down, whatever. Okay, so that should be far enough that when oil starts coming out, it should still end up in there, or at least on the pad. So we pull out the plug. Go ahead, tilt her all the way down. Okay. So not much is going to come out right now. Not until we pull that top screw out. Oh, it already fell out. So this is 90 weight gear oil. It will take a few minutes. But before we do that, let's grab us a paper towel. Just want to wipe off the little seal that's on here. Make sure there's no debris or crud or anything in there. And we'll leave those right there. And I'll go ahead and pause it because this stuff does not come out fast. It just doesn't. We'll be back in a few minutes. Or half an eternity, your choice. Okay, we are back, folks. It's been at least 30 minutes. I tell you that because, well, because you need to know it takes that long. So the camera angle may have changed a little bit, and that's because I couldn't get my motor down far enough, so I actually lowered the front of the trailer down as far as I could, so I could tuck up the motor as much as I could. So it has stopped finally coming out. And I will warn you, if you've never dealt with gear oil before, it stinks. Even when it's new, it stinks. So don't be alarmed if it comes out just smelling just nasty, because that's what it does. Okay. Now that we've done that, you need one of these little guys. It's a pump for the gear oil. And I got this one from Bass Pro Shops. And so it has a Yamaha Tohatsu adapter, as well as what should fit the Mercury. So let me just make sure I don't need that. No, I don't. That's the Yamaha Tohatsu adapter. And so we take the little screw cap off of this. And we put that in the hole. We're just going to screw it in the hole. So this is the bottom hole. Remember that we had to take the top plug out for the bottom one to start draining properly. And you always fill these from the bottom. The reason that you fill them from the bottom is because you don't want to introduce air into the gear lube. So if you fill it in from the top, you could have oil in there. Or not oil, air. And you don't want to do that because you want pure gear lube in there. You don't want a big oil bubble in there, or a big air bubble, I should say. I keep saying oil bubble. You want a big air bubble in there, because if you have a big air bubble in there, then the oil will eventually settle and you won't have enough gear lube in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the pan over towards me so that I can set this back down. I tilted it up just for ease for me, because my knees ain't what they used to be. So we kind of want to run it about level. And we're going to pump this thing mercilessly until we start getting oil out of this top hole. You'll notice what came out was nasty dark. This is very light. Usually it has like a kind of a darker color, but let me make sure this is, in fact, yeah, lower unit gear lube. That's what it is. So it should take most, if not all, of this quart. Okay. Something isn't right because I have a ton of lube left in this bottle. So what I'm doing is I'm squeezing this bottle. That's helping some. Let's see if I can put it upside down. If that'll, I doubt it'll pump upside down, but we'll find out. Yeah, so far it's doing okay. Oh, and we have lube coming out. Yay. Began to worry that we weren't going to get it. So now we put that screw back in. So get that in, give it a good snug. Okay. Now that we got that done, I'll go ahead and tilt it up. You don't have to do this. Again, this is for my convenience. And I will try to stay out of the way of the camera most of the way. So we're going to take this out. We want to have this guy ready. Probably won't be as bad since I've got it tilted up. That wasn't messy at all, Mike. That was from me trying a couple extra pumps, creating pressure up in there. So, lesson learned. Okay, get that tightened up. Just a little past stuck. I mean, again, we don't want to hulk it up and make a big giant mess. I did put a little bit of lube on the shaft. So we'll go ahead and put in the exhaust ring so that gets seated properly. Grab all our parts and accoutrements. Get our two pieces of the hub in there properly. Put on the thrust washer first. There's only so many times you make that mistake before you learn from it. Okay, that's all down. And then this little guy has got these two fingers. And there's tabs that those fit on so that it doesn't rotate. And then we'll put the prop nut back on. You can do that either by turning the wrench. Make sure that, yeah, it came off those pins when I did that. So let's get that back on. There they are. Or you can just turn the prop. Because these wrenches do, well, this style of wrench, if you've got the plastic one, it doesn't tend to, it doesn't do this, you know, going beyond where the nut is, or the length of the nut. Checking as we go to make sure those ears are still where they're supposed to be, and they are. Okay, get that in place. I feel like some of these parts are supposed to be able to bend those ears back into spot to keep it from turning now, but that's not what I'm feeling. I'll grab a pair of pliers here. Not the best tool for the job, but it'll work for now. There we go. That one got bent up good, and that one's bent up. So what these do is it just keeps that nut from turning, so it can't back off. And then those other fingers keep it on the hub of the prop, so it can't turn there either. And there we go. So what I'm going to do real quick is take a look at the pump. Yep. It shows that you need to keep it upright, which is how I had it, but it was not sucking up. It was not getting a good seal is what was happening. So it was not sucking it up from the bottom half of the gear lube bottom. So at this point, I'm just going to roll this back down, because there probably will be some more oil that just spills out of the where the prop goes in, the hub there, just because of filling it up, pulling that one off, etc. So there may be some that comes out, so I'm going to leave that there overnight. And tomorrow it's just clean up. There's nothing else to do because all of the work part has been done. So the only thing left to do on this one right now is to replace the water pump impeller. And I've actually got really good pressure, so I don't know if I'm going to do that right yet or not. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you watching. Again, this was a Mercury 115 4-stroke EFI. Changing the gear unit oil. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we will see you on the next one.